Now we'll be moving to early Wittgenstein. Now, early Wittgenstein's picture theory of meaning. It was put forward by early Wittgenstein in his book Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. According to Wittgenstein, despite the fact that there exists a wide gulf between language and the world, language explains world because language is the picture of reality. According to Wittgenstein, world is the totality of atomic facts. Language is totality of elementary propositions. Language is the picture of reality. That is, picture indicates internal similarities between propositions and facts. It also indicates similarities between logical form of language and that of world. Due to this similarity, language is able to depict the world. Thus, a proposition can be true or false in virtue of being a picture of reality. Language is said to mirror the world when it satisfies three conditions. One-to-one correspondence between a proposition and fact. Example, cat is on the mat. There are two objects. There are two names in the propositions. Identity of logical forms. There must be structural identity between the proposition and the fact. Example, bat is on the mat. Rules of projection. There must be some rules to correlate facts and propositions. Through mental act, we associate particular names with particular objects. These rules are the rules of projection. If a proposition satisfies all the above three conditions, it becomes a picture of corresponding facts. An elementary proposition has sense if and only if it is a picture of possible fact or a state of affair. There are three kinds of propositions. Sensical propositions, it describes the picture of reality. Propositions of natural sciences are in this group. Only propositions of natural sciences are significant or meaningful. Senseless propositions. Analytical propositions are senseless. They are of two types, tautology or contradiction. They are nonsensical in the sense that they claim not to describe any fact or picture. 2 plus 2 is equals to 4 is a tautology, and 2 plus 2 factorial is equals to 4 is a contradiction. Nonsensical propositions, they are neither the picture of reality nor contradiction, not tautology. For example, God is supreme. Now, criticisms. Later, Wittgenstein admits that while writing Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, he gave attention neither to actual world nor to actual language. The basis of picture theory of meaning is that the world could be divided into atomic facts and they could have one-to-one correspondence in the form of simple propositions in language. Later, Wittgenstein admits that the concept of atomic or simple facts were just a myth, which makes the picture theory absurd. It was assumed in picture theory of meaning that the world has a definite meaning. Later, Wittgenstein realized that the world has no identical meaning in different contexts. If Plato is the name of an object, then after death, it must be meaningless. If name doesn't mean an object, picture theory turns out meaningless. Now later Wittgenstein says that object is the bearer of the world and not the meaning. Language is the picture of reality is a superstition. Language has multidimensional functions. Its role is not confined to describing facts. Not only in cognitive sense, it can be used in emotional sense also. Saying and showing. Notion of saying and showing are based on early Wittgenstein's picture theory of meaning. This theory tries to establish a logical correspondence between the language and the world. According to early Wittgenstein, only the propositions of the natural sciences can be accepted as significant propositions as they really depict the picture of the world. Saying means describing the facts, showing means somehow authenticating. Language is the picture of reality, means it can speak or depict something in the natural world. However, many propositions, like those depicting the internal structure of language, cannot be depicted. Even the fundamental proposition of Tractatus, language is the picture of reality, cannot be analyzed or depicted, but it can be shown or demonstrated. Early Wittgenstein introduces the notion of showing in this context. Now, notion of saying. What can language say? Only those propositions can say something which can depict the picture of reality. In this sense, elementary propositions and their truth functions can be accepted as saying something. What language cannot say? It cannot say about the internal structure of language regarding name and prepositions. What saying is not possible. To say something regarding the internal structure of language, we have to cross the boundary of language, which is not possible. It indicates the limitation of language. Then only simple propositions and their truth function can say something. Now, solution. Russell says there are different level of languages, and language belonging to one language level can be spoken of as the basis of language belonging to another level. This is referred to as theory of types. Logical positivists say we can talk about the structure of language through language itself. Now, notion of showing all value statements are nonsensical, but these things exhibit themselves through language. Wittgenstein quotes that nothing can be told regarding language and it's infallible, but it manifests itself. My proposition of Tracticus is also nonsense. It works like a ladder, use it once and throw it away. Finally, he concludes that language shows what it cannot say. That is, what cannot be formulated in saying, sayables, that is, sensical propositions, can only be shown. So, what can be shown cannot be said. Even the unsayable, that is, metaphysical, ethical, aesthetic propositions of philosophy, belong in this group, which Wittgenstein finally describes as things that cannot be put into words. They make themselves manifest. They are what are mystical. Now, in the next video, we'll be doing later Wittgenstein. Actually, let me see if we can cover it in this video itself. Okay, we'll cover it in this video itself. Now, later Wittgenstein. Wittgenstein, in his later period, reversed his earlier position on linguistic philosophy and concluded that the language is the picture of reality is only a myth. According to him, language mirrors the world only under certain contexts. Language is a multi-purpose tool. It is wrong to attribute fixed meanings to words. It can acquire meaning depending on context. The task of strictly separating what is meaningful and meaningless in linguistic philosophy creates all philosophical problems. Thus, from early to later phase, Wittgenstein moves from the realm of logic to that of ordinary language as the center of philosophers' attention. Now, use of meaning. Contrary from his previous views in picture theory of meaning, Wittgenstein does not ascribe fixed meanings for words in the later phase. Now, Wittgenstein says that meanings of words lies in its use determined by the context. That is, don't look for meaning, look for use. Now, use of Wittgenstein came to see language as a kind of toolbox. It is an instrument of communication. Think of tools in a toolbox. There is a hammer, a plier, a saw, a screwdriver, a ruler, a glue box, glue, nails, and screw. The function of words are as diverse as the function of these objects. Now, language never demands fixed meaning of a word. Language is multifunctional. Providing information is one among the various functions of the language. Ascribing fixed meaning to a word is like putting a fly in a bottle, which causes philosophical problems. The solution is to show the fly out of the bottle. The notion of the contextual meaning accepted by Wittgenstein is similar to the concept shown by Prabhakaran. Wittgenstein's Hughes theory of meaning helps us to explain the meaning of moral and religious statements. Example, God is omnipotent. A logical positivist categorizes such statements as meaningless because it is non-cognitive. However, for a believer, this statement is meaningful within the context if it is used. Now, language games. In his work, Philosophical Investigations, Wittgenstein regularly referred to the concept of language games. The central component of language game is that they are uses of language, and language is used in multifarious ways. The concept is based on the following analogy. The rules of language game are analogous to the rules of a game. Thus, saying something in a language is analogous to making a move in a game. Since every move has different meaning in different games, the meaning of word also changes according to the use context in which it is used. Wittgenstein argues that a word or even a sentence has meaning only as a result of the rule of the game being played. Example, the utterance water could be an order, the answer to a question, or to some other form of communication. The word water has no meaning apart from its use within a language game. Wittgenstein does not limit the application of his concepts of language games to word meaning alone. He also points he also applies it to sentence and meaning. Example, the sentence Moses does not exist can mean various things. For instance, it can be used as to say that no person or historical figure fits the set of descriptions attributed to the person that goes by the name Moses. But it can also mean that the leader of Israelites was not called Moses, or that there cannot have been anyone who accomplished all that the Bible relates of Moses, etc. What the sentence means thus depends on its context of use. Thus, for later Wittgenstein, the speaking of language is a part of an activity or a form of life, which gives language its meaning. Every language represents a form of life. Every form of life has got certain rules associated with it. Meaning of the word language depends on those rules, and the person who is using it in the context is aware of the meaning of it. This brings authenticity to language. Now, family resemblance. Later, Wittgenstein used the concept of family resemblance in his posthumously published philosophical investigations to explain the obvious similarities between many of the uses of a single word. When one looks at the member of a family, it is easy to see numerous similarities shared by them. They are not identical, but they have many common features. Similarly, Wittgenstein asserts that there is a kind of family resemblance which runs through the different meanings of the word. The different uses, thus meaning of a single word, has some similarity among them, but there is no universal fixed meaning. Example, if one analyzes the word good in multiple uses like a good man, feeling good, goodwill, etc., he cannot arrive at a singular essence or element from which the concept is constructed. There are, however, some obvious similarities between many of the uses of the word good. Thus, the notion of family of resemblance argues that things which could not be thought to be connected by one essential common feature may in fact be connected by a series of overlapping similarities where no one feature is common to all of the things. In the context of language games, we say that there is a family resemblance between the games. The games have some similarities but no common universal feature. Criticism. Mathematical and computer languages are totally independent from context. According to later Wittgenstein, a word can be used in different contexts, but in a particular context, he accepts certain meaning of a word. According to Quinn, there, there is a uncertainty in meaning even in the same context. Now, critique of private language. The idea of private language, according to Ludwig Wittgenstein, means that the words of this language are to refer to what only the speaker can know, to his immediate private sensations. So another person cannot understand the language. Wittgenstein argues in his work Philosophical Investigations that it is not possible to have a wholly private language. All traditional philosophers have accepted private language for explaining external world. We say with authenticity that I know that I am in pain. Regarding others, we say I believe he is in pain. However, immediately after introducing the idea, Wittgenstein goes on to argue against it and concludes that there cannot be such a language. He shows that we cannot even say, I know I am in pain authentically. This is because the word pain is used in different contexts to mean different things. Memory cannot confirm that the pain in all contexts were the same. Now, Wittgenstein uses the analogy of a beetle in a box to explain his critique of private language. Analogy of beetle in a box. Consider a group of people, each with box in which there is something which each one calls a beetle. No one is allowed to look into anyone else's box. However, they can talk meaningfully about beetles even if they are not sure that what's in the box is, or even if there is anything in them at all. The thing in each person box is irrelevant to the shared public meaning of beetle. Its meaning is determined by the use people make of the term. not of the private something hidden away from view. The meaning of sensation of words such as pain isn't given by some private inner introspected something, a sensation to which the private person alone has access, but to its public use. Thus, later Wittgenstein eliminates the problem of solipsism, an offshoot of private language. Solipsism is a philosophical idea that only one's mind is sure to exist. An epistemological position, solipsism holds that knowledge of anything outside one's own mind is unsure. The external world and other minds cannot be known and might not exist outside the mind. Now, conclusion. Through the concepts of language game and the use theory, the philosophical problem which has arisen due to our obsession with ascribing meaning to language only on its correspondence with reality, that is putting fly in a bottle, disappear. At this stage, we realize that there was no real problem. Finally, Wittgenstein concludes that problems apparently emerged because we were prisoners of incorrect use of language. Now, a comparison between early Wittgenstein and later Wittgenstein. Early Wittgenstein proposed picture theory of meaning, saying and showing in his book Tractatus Logico Philosophicus in 1922. Later, Wittgenstein gave meaning and use, language game, and critique of private language in philosophical investigation in 1953. According to picture theory from early Wittgenstein, language is the picture of reality, that is, a proposition is meaningful if it is a picture of fact or state of affair. Later, Wittgenstein says that picture theory is unattainable, meaning of a word lies in its use, and use is determined by context. Don't look for meaning, look for use. Early Wittgenstein says there is only one function of language, that is to describe facts. Later Wittgenstein says language has many functions other than describing facts. Example, making stories, humor, thinking, devotion, etc. Now early Wittgenstein says every word has fixed meaning independent from its context. Later Wittgenstein says there is no fixed meaning of word independent out of its context. Meaning of the world is decided on its use. Early Wittgenstein says the purpose of philosophy is to solve problems. Early Wittgenstein was concerned with the logical relationship between proposition and the world. He believed that by providing an account of logic underlying this relationship, he has solved all philosophical problems. Later Wittgenstein doesn't believe in solving problems. For him, there is no actual problem. What is called a philosophical problem is actually a linguistic problem. Philosophy is the battle against bewitchment of our intelligence by means of language. That is fly in a bottle. To decide meaning of a word is a mental act. This is said by early Wittgenstein. We ascribe meaning to a word through our mental act. Later Wittgenstein says, if meaning is determined by mental act, there will be subjectivity in language and a universal language will become impossible. That'll be all for this. We'll be moving to logical positivism in the next video.